Will the Lord remember me? When on the cross, Calvary, the Lord was crucified. The monster round about him and mocked until he died. Two thieves were nailed beside him to share the agony, but one of them cried out to him, "Oh Lord, remember me." Will the Lord remember me when I am called to go? When I have crossed death's sea, will He His loving show? Oh yes, He heard my people cry from bondage, set me free. And when I reach the pearly gates, He will remember me. Oh, what a shame to kill Him there on that rugged cross, but such a death was needed to rescue all the lost. His blood was made a ransom to set the captives free. And I know that I'm included, and He will remember me. Oh, will the Lord remember me when I am called to go? When I have crossed death's sea, will He His loving show? Oh yes, He heard my people cry from bondage, set me free. I know that I'm included, and He will remember me. Oh, what a shame to kill Him there on that rugged cross, but such a death was needed to rescue all the lost. His blood was made a ransom to set the captives free. And I know that I'm included, and He will remember me. How many of you know that the Lord will? The Lord remember me when I am called to go? When I have crossed death's sea, will He His remember me. I'm old, and I'm old school. I make no bones about it. Kirk Franklin and all of them are good, but I like the old stuff. It comes and it stays. And the movies, you let it move you. Some of you sit like you know the Lord's gonna remember you. You've done some stuff just like I have. I want the Lord to, I don't know that He will, but I want Him to. When I'm called to go, when I've crossed death's chilly sea, the song says, will His loving show. Yes, He heard my feeble cry. From bondage, He set me free. Have you ever been in bondage and the Lord sets you free? Y'all, you can be bound by a whole lot of stuff. But if you've ever been bound, but the Lord sets you, the Bible says, he whom the Son sets free is free indeed. This morning, for the fleeting moments that shall be ours, thank you for praying with us thus far. We pray that you would continue to pray. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, beginning at verse 1. The book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 1. And I'm going to read from the NIV this morning. The prophecy that Habakkuk the prophet received. How long, Lord, must I call for help, but you do not listen? Or cry out to you violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing? Destruction and violence are before me. There is strife and conflict abounds. Therefore, the law is paralyzed and justice never prevails. The wicked hem in their righteousness, so that justice is perverted. You may be seated. Again, as I seek to talk to you this morning, thank you, from our subject of racism, and I'll keep preaching until we get it right. I don't think we're there by any means. But I want to talk from the subject today, how long? Simply, how long? If you and I are honest with ourselves today, we will be the first ones to admit that America is in a quandary. That America has a serious problem. And all of our problems are not at the borders. It's not the economy. It's not COVID-19. But America has a race problem. We don't want to admit it. We have failed to acknowledge it. Even Senator Graham went so far as to say that just because we elected Barack Obama as our president and now have elected Kamala Harris as vice president, that America is not racist. President Biden, shockingly, said it the other night, that he doesn't think Americans are racist. Senator Tim Scott said it, that he doesn't think Americans or America is racist. But I beg to differ today because America has a race problem. For years we have thought it would get better. Slaves sang about it. Up above my head I hear music in the air. There must be a God somewhere. In 1963, King talked about it as he stood on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial and told the world about a dream that he had, where his 4 little children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He talked about a dream where this nation, America, would rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal. However, long before slaves sang about it, and long before kings spoke about it, in the book of Habakkuk, which is composed in the 7th century BC, preceded by Nahum and followed by Zephaniah, Habakkuk lived during a period of national revival. Then followed a time of spiritual decline. Habakkuk wrote these words, "How long, Lord, must I call for your help, but you do not listen? Or cry out for you for violence, but you do not save? Why do you make me look at injustice? Why do you tolerate wrongdoing?" Then I like the Message Bible. It reads like this: "God, how long do I have to cry out for help before you listen? How many times do I have to yell help, murder, police, before you come to the rescue? Why do you force me to look at evil, stare trouble in the face day after day? Law and order fail to proceed, and justice is a joke." Habakkuk realized that there was a problem. And many of you are sitting here quiet this morning because it's a tight subject. But we are still have a problem. That God's chosen people are going to suffer and are going to suffer at the hands of the enemy. And Habakkuk wanted to know how long. And I know today it's unreal and seemingly unfair, but it's normal to be angry when we suffer at the hands of evil. When we look at Fox News and look at CNN, and I look at both of them because one side you got one spin, one side of the story, the other gives you the other side of the story, and if you put them together, you'll finally get a whole story somewhere along the line. Sometimes it seems like evil is prevailing and God does not appear to be doing anything about it. I know like you, like me, were taught not to question God. However, they had it only partially right. Your grandmother and mine. You're not questioning God's sovereignty or his right to do, but it's okay to question him as to what I'm to learn so that I don't keep repeating the same mistake over and over. Let me say that again. We were taught not to question God. You do not question God's sovereignty because God has the right to do whatever God wants to do. But I do have the right to ask him, God, why is this happening or falling on my doorstep so that I don't keep repeating the same mistake over and over. And so I asked the same question. Now I ask, how long will God's people, whether they're black, white, Asian, or Hispanic, as long as they're God's people, how long will we have to suffer from racism? How long do we have to suffer at the hand of the enemy? How long will injustice have the run of the day? Habakkuk wants to know, how long will my prayers not be answered? How many of you today can declare that you've been praying for America to get better, but it's still in the same state? How long will I cry out to you, save me, and you send no help to me? Why do you make me look at every day that I turn on the TV? I ask the question, why does somebody have to get killed? Why do people that protect and serve us have to be mistreated? How long? How long? And God, why do you tolerate the wrong that people are doing? It's your world, but yet God seems to somehow tolerate it. How long do we have to see good cops rape over the coals and lives in danger because of bad cops or racist citizens and a scared world? How long do we have to see and hear and read about another black person killed by the gun of another white officer? How long does a husband or wife have to wonder when their loved one puts on a uniform, whether they're black or white, and walks out the door to protect and to serve if they're coming back? All you do is sit there and Monday morning quarterback about whether the cop should have done this or should have done that, but you're not there. That's not your husband that walks out the door. That's not your wife that walks out the door, that has less than a minute to make a decision that will affect the rest of their lives. How long does an African-American mother, a grandmother, sister, or aunt have to worry when that African-American male leaves home if they're going to get back that call that they've been shot in the streets of America? How long? God, what is your power and purpose in this world? And Habakkuk, like you, meet struggle number one to see God's goodness in the midst of such evil and injustice. You and I struggle wondering when and if America is going to get better. Do you ever wonder, will we ever turn on the TV and just get good news? Do you ever wonder whether we will turn on the TV and black folk are not against white folk and white folk are not against black folk, Asians and Hispanics, but people like Rodney King said, can we all just... And you can say, if we cut each other, we still bleed the same red blood. Why can't we get along? Why is it necessary? Have you ever thought about it? Why is it necessary for one of us to be better than the other? Why does one person have to be over the other person? Why can't we be like the Christ child when he came into the world? Not above us, but Emmanuel, God with us. Y'all missed that. They said, thou shalt call his name Emmanuel. Not God over us, but God with us. This world would be so much better if we learn how to be with each other rather than over each other. If white folks don't have to be over black folks, if black folks didn't have to be over Hispanic folks and other black folk, depending on the color of their skin, if Asians didn't have to be over Hispanics, if cops didn't have to be over citizens, why can't police and citizens see that each other has a job and just get along? Y'all quiet. That citizens ought to be able to live out the creed of America, that we have inalienable rights. And we have the responsibility to do justice, love mercy, and walk. That's your responsibility as a citizen, to do justly, love mercy, and walk only before God. And that police have a job to protect and to serve. And respect those that they're called to serve, without the interruption and disrespect from the community that calls them when they get in trouble. Amen. It is strange that we hate cops when black folks are killed, but we turn around and call them if the same black folks knocking around the door trying to break in. Speak it, Reverend. Speak it, Reverend. Think about it. Why can't we just get along? Why can't we see each other as not black human beings or white human beings or Hispanic, but human beings? God created one race, and that's a human. I know this falls hard with some of y'all because you like being like you like to be. But God has called you to be better than you are. Habakkuk and I asked the relevant question, will any good and can any good come from this? Where is God in all this suffering? If we are made in his image and in his imago Dei, why do we and I suffer? And the response comes back to me, first of all, if he allowed his son to suffer, we too must go through the hands of the unsaved and the hearts of the impure. Don't think that you have a pass not to suffer. If God allowed his son, Christ Jesus, to suffer at the hands of evil men, what makes you think you will not suffer? Why do you think they had no reason to book Jesus all night long? Think about it. They had no reason to make him bear his cross up the Calvary. They had no reason to nail him to a cross. And God stood there and let them do it. He could have come down, but he didn't. So that this world would be better than it is, but yet we still act evil. Secondly, lest I bore you too long, Rebecca asked, and I want to know, when will justice be done? I wonder, and I know you're wondering when justice will be equal across the board. Seems sometimes that justice isn't fair. You and I wonder how long will it be before the arc of the moral universe, which is long, when is it going to bend toward justice? It seems like one set of people get one set of justice. There are 2 or 3 or 4. It was 2 Americas, or 3 or 4 Americas now. Why can't we have one America where the same justice is served out to everybody? Why everybody gets the same treatment? Well, Pastor, what is justice? Justice is that constant and perpetual will that gives every man his due. Don't you know that you are going to get what you deserve? And whether you get it on this side or the other side, you're going to, hello. Your job and my job is not to dish out to people when they're wrong. God's going to take care of it. Every one of us. And when we delay justice, it's injustice. I don't really know all the facts of Elizabeth City, but delaying it doesn't help the situation. Holding the video doesn't help at all. Justice is what love looks like in public. Think about that. Justice is what love looks like in public. It's one thing to me to say to Jamie or say to Steve or others behind closed doors that, hey man, it was injustice, they did you wrong. But it takes something else for me to stand in front of a whole congregation of black people and say, y'all are wrong for treating them like that. You can clap. It's justice is what love looks like in public. It's how we act in front of everybody. See, y'all need to stop this. Black folk want to act like white folk the only one that have it. Y'all, you can't even clap right now because you can't take what I'm saying. Because you're guilty. what you do behind closed doors don't count. That's how you treat your neighbor in public. And contrary to what you think, it's everybody's job to see that justice gets done. Every one of us, I don't care who you are, where you stand, it's your job to see that justice gets done. Yes, so, Pastor, when we see justice, when we experience justice, we'll experience it when we stop pointing the finger at one another. When we stop blaming others for the wrong in America and start looking at self. When we stop coming in our ivory towers on Sunday morning like the whole world is wrong and we're the only ones that have the right, when half of the hell that comes in the world comes out of the church. Half of the bad attitudes, the mistreatment of our brothers and sisters comes out of the church. And he said, you don't even treat each other right. Let alone the people out there in the street. So how do you expect them to learn how to do it right if you're doing it wrong? At some point, you and I have to stop looking at people based on the color of their skin as the problem, but come together to solve the hate problem. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Call it what it is. Speak truth to power. If my black brothers are wrong, then my black brothers are wrong. If my white brothers are wrong, then they're wrong. You've got to call it what it is. Stop walking around going along with people just because. I know some of you wish I had stayed sick. And I wish I had stayed home a little bit longer. But the truth of the fact, God raises you up just in time to get back when you need it. The fact of the matter is, until the church gets it right, we can't complain about those people in the street. The church hasn't got 11 o'clock is still. I was a little earlier, but the most precious hour in America. The church hasn't gotten it right. Yet we talk about we love God. How do you love God and don't love your brothers and your sisters? How do you love God and can't come to worship with them? How do you love God and you see them at work and you speak and go around the water cooler and talk about them? How do you love God? When you sit at home figuring out how you're going to plot against them. Where is that love? God shares with us that sometimes as much as we want to, as much as we attempt to, take evil in our hands by the way we handle each other and talk to each other. You can't talk to people in that kind of way. Ain't nobody taking that no more. I'm sorry. Citizens ain't taking it. Cops ain't taking it. Ain't nobody taking you talking. Ain't nobody taking making $30,000 a year for you to wolf out of them. For those of you that don't know, cops don't make about that. Most of y'all make more than the cops make. Then they're going to take you wolfing at them. They need to go on training. They need to learn how to handle themselves and have some restraint. Ain't no restraint when you cussing at me. If you church folk can lay down your religion, why can't the cops? Y'all was quick to say, I'm going to lay down my religion and pick up my war tools. Let's be honest. Citizens aren't going to take it from the cops. trying to do the right thing, just riding along. If you're going to give me a ticket and go on about your business. You ain't got to snatch me out your car. You ain't got to call me nigga. You ain't got to call me nothing else. Just give me the ticket and let me go. Isn't it that simple? God says to you and me that he has a time and a plan. As much as we want him to move now, I would love for God to move right now. But he's not my puppet, and I can't make him move right now. God lets us know that he has a time and plan to do what needs to be done. But the fact of the matter is, as I'm getting ready to close, America ain't ready. We're not ready. What do you mean, Pastor? Because we haven't learned to love ourselves yet. The problem with America is you can't love me if you don't love you. You can't love citizens if you don't love you. You can't love cops if you don't love. You can't love black folk if you don't like yourself. You can't love white folk. You've got to learn to love your. And maybe that's why, for the most part, I'm pretty good, because I'm crazy about me. I love. You can say what you want to. I'm foolish about me. And on my worst days, looking ugly. I comb my hair. I'm crazy. I love. I stepped in the mirror this morning, and ain't nobody gonna be in church prettier than me. I don't care how good you look or think, that's fine with me, because you got a right. But I think I look good. Y'all think that's stupid. I mean, he's arrogant. You call me what you want to. But when you love yourself, you ain't got a problem loving other people that like themselves. I love my neighbors. Let be what they want to be. And my neighbors, any of you, you get a new car, I'm happy for you. I'm not envious. I'm not jealous you get a new house. I don't bless more houses and ain't got now one with my name on it. I don't own any of that, but it doesn't stop me being happy for you for getting it. You've got to learn to love you, and America will never change until we love ourselves. And if I've got to put you down to make me look good, I'm going to be done in a few minutes. But if it takes me putting you down to make me look good, then there ain't much to me. If I got to dog another male out to get a woman, then there's something wrong with me. If I got to dog another person out to get a job, there's something wrong with me. We haven't learned how to do unto others as we have them do unto us. America's not ready. We haven't learned how to do by folk the way we want them to do by us. We want to do folk dirty and then expect folk to do us good. Y'all quiet. Well, y'all real quiet this morning. You treat folk the way you want to be treated. You don't want to be mishandled while you mishandling another folk. And quiet as it's kept, ain't nobody in here perfect. I know y'all think y'all are. You think you're right. You think you got all your, you do it right all the time. You don't do it right. I don't do it right all the time. Nobody does. Just like people look beyond your faults, you all look beyond people's faults and see their needs. And as quiet as if God looked beyond your faults The only reason I'm here today is God looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. You need to see each other as your brother, not your enemy. We need to look at your neighbor as not what's wrong with them, but what's right with them. It's easy to look at the faults as pretty as I think I am. I got it this morning and I realized I got some faults. Hello. I'm pretty, but I got faults. I'm pretty, but I'm not perfect. I'm pretty, but I follow. Sure. And when I acknowledge that, and I see what's wrong with me, then that same grace allows me to extend that to other people. That other people ain't always right. Everybody ain't having a good day. Everybody ain't right today. Today's just a bad day. Ain't no need to get mad with them, but just understand that they need something else today. And it's my job to give it to them. Then finally, justice will not and cannot be attained. It will never move beyond this racism, this thing called racism, until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are affected. It's not until those who don't seemingly understand the effects, understand and are angry about those who are affected. Then and only then will we begin to see a change.